What's up, guys, and welcome to BitCast, episode 126 for the month of November 2024. I'm your host, Jake Martin, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Landry Smith. What's up, dude?
What's up, Jake? How's it going, everybody?
Long time no talk.
I know, it feels like an extra special long time because we're like a week late.
We're a week late. We had a lot of things happening. The holidays, kind of Thanksgiving came and went. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah, it was great. Got to see my in-laws, got to see my parents, all the family that comes with that. So it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Did you stay in town or?
Yeah, we went out. We traveled. And, you know, one thing that's always funny, my mother-in-law makes this dish that I just affectionately refer to as mac and cheese spaghetti, because that's like literally what it is. It's just
delightful.
Mac and cheese. So it's like a giant aluminum foil catering tin full of spaghetti with like 3 sticks of butter, some pasta water, and just a ton of like shredded cheese, like all mixed together. And that's like one of like the go-to dishes for the family.
Dude, honestly, I'm a pretty simple man, but I would say that 2 of my favorite dishes, period, are like homemade mac and cheese. I hate Kraft mac and cheese. I always have. And even as a kid, I didn't like it. Yeah. And spaghetti. I love spaghetti. So that's like 2 of my favorite things.
Win-win.
Combined into one thing. So.
The only thing that sucks about it is like it doesn't look appetizing. Like when you see it, you're just like, what is happening here? But then you can't go wrong. Butter, cheese, spaghetti noodles. I mean, like what? You know, what more do you want? Water. Yeah, pasta water. I mean, come on, all that starch.
Hit me with that salt. Yeah. I made I made mac and cheese this year, and it was like it was going to be so good, man. I had Gouda, cheddar. I made a roux before. Like, I mean, it was intense. I pulled it out of the oven. It looked delicious. Had like a panko breadcrumb crust on top.
Dang, bro.
And we had like this little, like almost like a pizza carrier that we transported it to Atlanta. By the time we got to Atlanta, this was for like a Friendsgiving. I took it out and I just knew, like I took the foil off and I was like, dude, this is going to suck because it had like dried out on the way there. So I was so excited to try this. I'm not like a great cook, but I'm definitely passable. Like most times when people eat the stuff that I make, they're like, oh, this is delicious.
Yeah.
I did not get any compliments on my mac and cheese. And I'm so thankful too, because I knew like a first bite, I was like, dang, it dried out. Like it's not great.
Dang.
So it's frustrating.
Well, you at least tried, at least put your all in. I can't say that because I didn't do anything. I didn't help at all with any of the dishes. So I just showed up and ate like a lazy piece of crap. So.
For my family thing, I did a green bean casserole, which I'd never made before.
Classic.
And promptly realized why I hate green bean casserole. It's
mushroom soup.
Yeah, dude. It's so gross. Exactly. Mushroom soup. And like the onion straws. Like I don't really love fried onions. I like cooked onions, grilled onions, like as long as they're caramelized, but fried onions never done it for me. So I was just like, man, as I was making it, I was like, this is like just a medley of all the crap that I hate. So
these are all things that are gross. The only thing I like in here is the green beans, but like without all of this on top of it.
Dude, yeah, I love fresh green beans. Never been a fan of like canned green beans or frozen green beans.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fresh cut green beans, salt and pepper. Just like that's all you need. You don't need much else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For the audience, if you hear me awkwardly grunting, or if you're watching the audio just like shifting weirdly in my chair, I was telling Landry this before the show, but I decided to race my brother-in-law in a bouncy house obstacle course, and he was winning the first lap. And so I decided to be cheeky and like jump in from the outside. And in the process of doing so, I like landed on my neck super weird. And so I'm like, yeah, my neck's jacked up. So apologies in advance.
Dude, I wonder if there's anything more tempting and perilous for a 30-year-old than a bouncy house. Because like I know so many people who've just wrecked themselves on bouncy houses. And they're so fun. Like you go to a jump park and you're like, dude, this is incredible. This is like everything I wanted as a child. And you get out there and your body just cannot perform the way it used to.
There really is there is this break that happens when you turn 30. I think it's just like you're in this headspace where you think that you still can do some of these things. You're like, I'm still pretty young. Like I can do a lot of this stuff, but like one wrong movement, one mistake, and you're done. Like maybe if you're a teenager and under, like you can land on your neck and bounce back, or you can twist your ankle and not break it in 16 places, but that's not the case anymore.
Dude, I was playing basketball the other day and I was warming up and I literally was just doing like a normal walking motion and like rolled my ankle somehow before I even got to play. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to sit this one out, guys. It's just so sad.
It sucks, dude. I'm glad that this is how we're opening this podcast. There's a lot to be thankful for. I guess we're thankful for our health.
So thankful.
What we still can do. Oh, man. Well, anyways, Landry, thanks for joining me. I'm excited to talk again about video games. So if you are tuning in, folks, we are going to run through our topic of the month, our Game and Watch segment where we talk about just games that came out in November and what's coming out ahead in December. We have our Game of the Month Club where we'll be talking about Kena and the Bridge of Spirits, or the Bridge of Spirits. I don't know if there's an and in there or not.
I don't either.
I think it's just the Bridge of Spirits. The Bridge of Spirits. I don't know.
Maybe.
And then everyone's hit favorite game show, Name That Game Music, where Landry and I try to guess game music that we select for each other. And we have a few hints, kind of like whose line is it anyway? So tune in for that at the very end if you just want to skip all the news. But don't do that, actually. You should listen to all this. Housekeeping, reviews, write into us. Check us out on social. It's all good things that we appreciate. So you should do that. But let's jump on over then, Landry, to the topic of the show.
Let's do it.
So I wrote this topic shortly after we recorded our previous podcast because I had a conversation with my brother, actually. And the topic is, how long should a game entertain? So I'll give you kind of like, I'll set the scene and then I'll open it up to you, Landry.
Okay. I remember reading this right when you put the topic in, and I haven't paid much attention to it since. But I did look at it this morning, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to write any thoughts down. I'm just going to kind of go at it.
I love it.
Tonight.
Off the cuff. Let's go.
I think it's going to be okay.
I want your candid response to these things. So I was talking with my brother. He called me, and we were just chatting back and forth, and he was debating if he wanted to get Call of Duty, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know if I want to get it, man. Like, I feel like I just get bored of Call of Duty after like 2 months. And, when I first heard that, I was like, yeah, you're right. Like sometimes I kind of regret my purchase of Call of Duty or any kind of game like that. That's sort of this promise of like entertainment for a while. And I get bored and I'm like, dang it, that game only lasted me like 2 months. And I kind of just dropped it, like, whatever, I'm done. I'm over it. Moving on to the next thing. So yeah, like the comment didn't really catch me off guard at first, but then I thought about it more after he and I stopped talking. He got off the phone and I was like, man, 2 months to me seems like a really long time. Like that's an unreasonably long time to be entertained by something.
For sure.
So Landry, what are your thoughts on that in general? Just like broad high level.
Man, I have a couple of thoughts that are kind of like warring against each other right now. I mean, games like Call of Duty, or even, something in my wheelhouse like Madden or 2K.
Yeah, Madden and sports games are a good
really
comparison.
Designed to capture your attention and keep you engaged by whatever means necessary, which is why they've started implementing all of these things that I really don't care about. And they actually kind of turn me away from the product, like, booster packs that you can open up to like for my team or whatever, or my career. Speaking about Madden and 2K at this point. And I'm sure there's that kind of like booster pack level of a microtransaction, I guess, on Call of Duty. I'm not really aware of how they do that to engage you in some way. But for me, that does not keep me engaged. It kind of turns me away from the product just because it's like extra crap that you have to sort through to get to what I actually like, which is the core gameplay experience. And video games, in my opinion, are, they grab your attention in such a crazy way because they come at like all these senses, like you're listening, you're playing, you're watching as well. And there's very few games that are going to grab my attention for more than 2 months. Like even if I'm in like an extreme single player experience that's going to take me close to 100 hours, like that will probably take me 3 months. But most games are probably going to be I'm going to stay with them for about a month. Maybe like I've found out because of this podcast that most games I play, I take about 5 weeks with, because I seem to always be almost at the end whenever we come to the pod. Like with Kina this today, like I am like, I've literally got like, I know I've got like 30 minutes because I looked at a guide right before I popped on here to see how much farther I had to go. Yeah. But man, I don't know. 2 months is a lot. Personally, I feel like to be engaged by something, and we're adults, so our attention is probably going to wander off into something else, especially me and you. We're gamers, so we can't just be playing Call of Duty 12 months out of the year.
Can't just play one game at a time. I got to bounce between like 3 or 4, and then
that's why I
indecisive.
Never played World of Warcraft, because I know that game would hit extremely hard for me, and I'd probably literally just not play anything else for a year.
Yeah, dude. I'm right there with you. To me, if I'm going to play a game, I almost want it to end. Like, right. I almost want to feel like I can finish it. There's this sense of completion that I enjoy. But on the other side, for like a Madden and Call of Duty, I do think there is this expectation that games should be fun to play like almost indefinitely. It's like, okay, I'm paying $70, and I know that down the road, you've already promised me new maps, new guns, new battle passes, new, microtransactions and new events that are going to keep me coming back. And I think this kind of goes back to our previous episode or the podcast with Mark, where Fortnite kind of introduced this. I mean, this isn't Fortnite necessarily. I think Call of Duty has always been gunning, no pun intended or pun intended, for attention and trying to keep people engaged and spending money on there. Because their whole thing is like, if they have a big enough player base, then it's easier to find matches and, set up servers. And so it all works more fluidly if there's more people playing, versus if they have a small player base. It's like, oh, it's a dead game, let's go to the next thing. I think like there's not really like another entertainment medium, I feel like, that we treat this way. Like the expectation is that you're gonna pay to experience a movie or read a book. You're gonna pay to like read a book or listen to an audiobook, but then like you're done. Like right. you watch it and then you're done. You can watch it again if you want to.
Yeah, the only thing that like I can think of that wars for your attention like a Call of Duty or a Fortnite is things like TikTok or Facebook or Netflix that want you engaging with their interface for as long as possible. And that seems to be the way these games are designed these days. And again, it's like my attention is split through so many different avenues. Like I'm not just a huge video game nerd. Like I also love film. I also love books. And so, some nights I get the kids in bed and I watch like an episode of TV. Like I'm watching Twin Peaks right now. And
nice.
I'm really enjoying that. So it's like, maybe 3 nights out of the week, I choose to plug in and play a video game for a solid hour. And, other nights I choose to do something else. So the idea that a video game holds my attention for 2 months, to be honest, like if that happened, then it would have to be A, incredible.
Yeah.
B, I don't really seek out those experiences like Call of Duty personally, or even 2K or Madden, that are kind of like, I consider them, and I hope this isn't like a degrading term because I don't mean it that way. I just don't know how to say it any other way. And I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this. I do play 2K and Madden, but I consider them like actual time wasters because even though there is a level of competition and there's that element of fun, like there's not a lot to analyze, to chew on, to like,
time wasters is a perfect description for that kind of game.
Yeah, exactly. So like with Kina and the Bridge of Spirits, it's like, even though I don't think that game's a masterpiece, I still think there's a lot to like kind of like dissect and think about and analyze in that game, because there's just this entire world. There's a story. There's also like environmental storytelling. So there's a lot more to like kind of pick apart that works for my brain, at least, you know. And I'm not saying like that's like high art necessarily. I would still consider it like commercial art, fun, kind of lowbrow. But it's still a little more meaty of an experience that I can personally that I enjoy a little more.
I love that. I think that's a perfect description. And yeah, there are these like different tiers of games, you know, and I think there's a space totally for what you're describing, where it's like you're going to have a majority of the population playing those kinds of games, because when they're thinking of video games, maybe they're not thinking of it from this like art form and these like amazing single player story experiences. They're like, yeah, I want to hop on and play a few rounds of Madden and just like hang out with my friends and then go to bed. You know, like that's it. Like that's all they do. I know that there are so many people out there that's all.
I would say that's the large percentage of gamers. I would think probably, right?
Probably, yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the general populace has evolved. I feel like you can't own a console now without somebody being like, "Oh, dude, have you played this game?"
No, that's true. I have a lot of friends who are predominantly gamers in the vein of like Madden and 2K. I know you have a lot of friends that are like Call of Duty and stuff. You know, I grew up just with a lot of like kind of like jock friends who were like playing sports and stuff. So I think that's where like a lot of my friend group plays those types of games. But almost all of them, I've gotten to like play like God of War, maybe give a shot, or The Last of Us, you know.
And they probably
a lot of them have, you know, tried one or two like of those big blockbuster games.
Yeah, but it's not what they would commit to fully. Like
exactly, they're not buying a PS5 for that.
No, they're like, I'm going to play the next Madden, and if it's only available on the next console, I'll just get the next console, whatever. Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are like that too. Like, I have one group that's like super into fantasy football, and like they love Madden and like all the sports games. Like that's like all they do, and they're just super into that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Good for you guys. So one more question. Why does it feel to me, this is just me, more enjoyable to revisit single player games over multiplayer or like online games? Like why? Like just this is like conundrum that I have where like, if I'm thinking about playing a game, eventually, like the addiction level from a multiplayer game, and when I'm first learning it, like makes me want to come back and hit it a whole bunch of times. But long term, like I do not want to go back to like an old multiplayer game. Like I'm not playing last year's Call of Duty. I'm not playing like these old multiplayer games from a long time ago. Maybe Halo.
Yeah,
maybe. But that's the outlier. There are almost no other huge multiplayer games that I'm like, oh man, I got to go back and play that. It's like, nah, I'd rather go back and play Banjo-Kazooie. I'd rather go back and play a Mario or a Zelda game.
Even with like Halo, there's like this element of world building that maybe you can have like this personal kind of reaction to. And with most multiplayer games, I feel like it's kind of a social experience, or you know, maybe you're playing like, I played a lot of Rocket League with friends, but I played probably much more of it by myself. But still, like the memories I have of Rocket League are the ones I had with friends. Playing that online, like talking to them while I'm playing it and stuff. So maybe those multiplayer experiences are kind of memories you have with people, and it's kind of hard to recreate those moments. Whereas with a single player narrative game, you can go back and revisit that space, and it's exactly the way you left it. And it doesn't necessarily depend on outside circumstances to remain the same. So you can go back and revisit it, and you might be a changed person, but you're going to still see that same world and see how you view it now as opposed to how you viewed it then.
Dang. That's deep, Landry. That's real deep. I'm a different person now.
Oh yeah.
I also think like you add this point in here, but there is this constant cycle of new that comes with more online multiplayer games as of late, where like there's always a new addition to a game. Like Fortnite's a great example of this, where like modern multiplayer games, like when you first start them, might be pretty bare bones and easy to grasp, and then you wait a few months and come back, and then everything's changed, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's so true.
You got Thanos over here fighting Betamax or whatever his name is from the Disney Pixar movie. Like, I don't even know what's happening right now. There's like little Pokemon you can raise. There's like games inside of games, and it's like I'm overwhelmed. If I even try to get on a game like that now, I'm just like, I can't. I can't do it.
Dude, it's like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
So my one shooter game experience really lies in Splatoon. And it's like, I always play those games when they first come out for like the first couple months, and I'll get up to like level 20 or so. And I feel like I'm pretty good at the games. And then I take like 8 months off and I go revisit it, and it's like flooded with Japanese players who are just literally like, they snipe you the moment you like spawn on a map. They're like so pro, it's unbelievable.
They've been playing so long that they just like they've learned every in and out of the map in the game that they possibly could. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, when I was a kid, I only had like 6 games. So, playing GoldenEye literally like 5,000 times and knowing every spawn point, knowing where every weapon was, knowing every corner to hide behind, to place a bomb, to like just to completely mess with people. Like, yeah, I mean, like I had all those parts of the map scoped out. So it's like Splatoon, I don't remember the maps necessarily. I don't have the strategies down. So it's one of those things where I think you leave a game for a while, and the people who stay with it, and just it becomes like they know it so well. It's like the back of their hand. And then you try and get back into that space, and you're like, oh, you're just going to get wrecked every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not fun.
It's not. I'm glad that you and I have had the same experiences. You just come on and get absolutely washed, and you're like, okay, this used to be a fun game.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm terrible. One last thing that I thought of when you were talking about like replayability a little bit, Game Informer RIP used to, I think, include that in their like rankings. They used to like add replayability, or maybe it wasn't. I just know a prominent review site or magazine.
I remember that for sure. Yeah, it was definitely one of the ones I read, whether it was Game Pro or Game Informer.
Yeah, and
I love that.
And so I think like,
although I did disagree with it a lot, but I still like
right, because it's all subjective. It's just like, what kind of gamer are you? Are you one who's going to want to go back and replay a story mode campaign and try and 100% the game, or are you just going to be a one and done kind of person? Like, I don't know.
And also, like, it's not necessarily. I don't think it should go into a numerical score, because like an arcade game that's short and sweet, that's designed to be replayable, that's going to score highly on a replayability scale. But then like a single player narrative experience might not, but that's just not the way it's designed to be.
Right. It wasn't meant to be replayable, really. Like you can replay it as many times as you want to. But after a certain point, that story
I still liked having it there, like as a metric, because it was just like, I would just like read it, and then I'd either just be like, oh yeah, I get it, or it'll be like, this is stupid, I hate this. And then it would just like,
well, yeah. So like, I guess my point about that is, I guess since the beginning of video games, or at least review sites taking that into consideration, it seems that there was this point to consider, because you're spending money on this product, and it's like, how much value can you get out of this? How many times can you replay this? Is it a replayable game? Do they offer you anything after you finish the game to go back and do? Or is it just kind of like I finished this, I can get rid of it? And does that make it worse or better? I don't know. In my mind, no. I think if the package is complete, you had a really good experience and you enjoyed the story, then like move on and play it again down the road when you've kind of forgotten some stuff, or
it's
just
something.
Do what
it's
you
another
want.
thing. Like, I know video games are such a commercial art form, but it is another thing that is kind of like, and this is just me thinking about it now without thinking about it more deeply, but I feel like that's a very video game thing, right? Like, you're not gonna get a review of a painting and it have like, like, oh, it's just too expensive, or a movie, because they're all kind of a flat rate, right? And
paintings aren't flat rates. Those are all over the place.
First prints and stuff. Yes. Yeah, you're right. But still, like, they don't necessarily say like, oh, this is this is the first print Van Gogh, and it's $1.2 million. No one can afford it, so we'll give it a 7 out of 10. Like that's not necessarily the way it works. Or like books, like because books and movies have like a flat price. Music does.
Yeah, they haven't fluctuated much. It's just kind of like, this is the price you pay. But I mean, games kind of have that too. It's like, this is the price you pay.
Yeah. Although I do remember like growing up with music and it being like a new band would come out with an album and it have like 8 songs, and there would be reviews that would be like, this is a short album, like that would count. So I guess it is like a value proposition for a lot of people. To me, it just never hit that way. Like I never really thought about it, even when I had like very little disposable income. Like if my favorite band comes out with an 8-track CD that I like more than all the other stuff, like I'm still going to buy it and love it.
Yeah, I'm going to make some people mad. You could be like Taylor Swift and shit out a crappy album with 31 songs on it that no one wants to listen to. It's like, these are all not very good. Why did you do this?
Dude, don't get the Swifties on you, man.
It's just, yeah. She's great. She's a great performer. I respect the talent. That album was not good. Anyways, I like closing this out. Is there a definitive answer on how long should a game entertain?
No, not at all. I think that a game should entertain as long as it needs to, meaning that like, if it's something like Gone Home and it's a 2.5 hour experience and every single moment of it is impactful and wonderful and it tells what it needs to tell or does what it needs to do, that's perfectly fine. If it's a game like NBA Jam and you go and pump, $1 into it and play one game for 20 minutes with your buddy and he hits a full court shot to beat you in the last like minute, that's a perfect experience. Like you don't ever need to play that again. Or it could be a game like back. For me, like, you sink hundreds of hours into. So, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like a $70 game, how much time does that need to entertain me, for me to make it valuable or like a value proposition? I would say, honestly, just 5 hours is probably what I'm looking at. And if I think about all the other times that I spend money on, that's probably, if it's going to hit a high for 5 hours for me, that's perfectly fine. But that's me and where I'm at with my life. So
love it. So there you go, guys. Think about your games in a more healthy way. They don't have to be entertaining all the time, and you can take a break and you can come back to it later. If you're playing the new Call of Duty and you're already getting kind of burnt out, just take a rest. Take a rest, play something else for a little bit, and then come back in a month when you're completely outclassed by the 12-year-olds that have been playing all night in their mom's basement or grandma's basement, and then never get back online again. Just drop the game at that point, and there you go. Well, thanks, Landry. That was a good, insightful conversation. Appreciate that.
When you texted me this morning, I thought at first, because I'd forgotten about the Google Doc, and I thought you were like, do video games need to be entertaining? And I was like, oh, this is fascinating. I can't wait to answer this question. I like this conversation topic too.
Do they need to be entertaining? I mean,
at the current,
I think so, yes.
Yeah, currently, yes. But I will say some of my experiences that I've really loved in video games, I would say actually kind of aren't. Like the Artful, I can't remember what that game's called that I liked so much. The Artful Escape. The Artful Escape. I didn't find that very entertaining, but I found it really interesting. And I loved Radiohead's Amnesiac Experience. I don't know if you played that on PS5.
No, I remember this. I think I downloaded it, yes, because it was free.
It's basically like an art museum, but it's interactive, and it's like it goes through and like you play their album basically. And it's weird and it's kind of trippy, but it's also like such a good idea. It would be incredible in VR.
But that sounds like that entertained you.
Yes, to an extent, but it was also like not like video game entertainment where I'm like on like that, just like
dopamine, I don't know, rush.
Yeah, there's no dopamine involved whatsoever. It felt much more like I was reading a book where I was sitting down and kind of like forcing myself to do something because it was an artistic experience. Yeah, it was weird, but it was kind of like walking through a museum. You wouldn't necessarily, that's like super entertaining, but it is rewarding in a lot of ways.
Experience versus entertainment. That's the question.
Also true. Okay. Yes. Well,
a discussion for another time.
Yeah,
maybe Mark's podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump on over then to Game & Watch. All right, so let's take a look at November, what came out this month, and what's coming out in December. So this month's report card, Landry, why don't you go ahead and run us through if you have the outline up.
I don't have it up. Hold on.
I'll pull it. I'll go through this month, and then you go through next month.
That sounds good.
All right. So we had Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship come in at 77 on Switch, a bit lower than I was hoping for because that was on my Fantasy Critic. Tetris Forever pretty much came out on everything, got an 81. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake got an 85. That looks awesome. Lego Horizon Adventures came in at 71, and Microsoft Flight Simulator came in at 74.
Wow.
Dude, and that's after the dust has settled. I think that still has been impacted by hard launch issues.
Yes.
But man, that's too bad.
Too bad.
Too bad for Mark because he had that one on there. And that was going to be
Microsoft just
big
needs to
hitter.
Stop sucking so bad, man.
Oh, dude, hey, Indiana Jones. We just saw in our group chat. Could be pretty good.
Yeah, I saw IGN gave it a 9. It does look cool. I love Indiana Jones, like as a movie property.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the newest one, but I actually think I'd probably like it. I like the one with Shia LaBeouf and everything. Yeah, I like them all. I guess I just have no taste when it comes to Indiana Jones. I just like adventure.
Yeah, adventure.
Dude,
good romp.
Did you pay attention to Tetris Forever? Because this has become a game that I actually really want, and I don't like Tetris very much, but
I love Tetris. I've only heard a little bit about it, but I know that it's kind of like what you were just describing. It's kind of like a museum experience where you play a game and then it like gives you like a video or a backstory about development and how that all came to be. And then they kind of bump you into the next game and it kind of moves
through interactive documentary almost.
And I think that's so a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's like there's like been like 3 games like that. Like I can't remember, the one was called like Karateka or something.
Yeah.
And then the Atari collection, and now this, all done by Digital Eclipse. And I just think they're doing something really cool and really special.
I would love if they finally, if they were able to partner with Nintendo on some of their properties. Like how cool
that would be my dream. I would like, even if it was an NES game, I would eat that up. Or if it was like something like from Capcom in the 90s, or like, you know, like Mega Man. Honest, like all the Atari stuff it just misses me entirely. Like I'm fascinated by it, like almost like I'm kind of fascinated with silent film, and that it's like something that precedes the stuff that I love. So I feel
it's still interesting.
A historical interest in it, but I don't actually want to play any of those games.
Right.
But it would be really cool for them to hit like up the 90s in basically any way at all.
Yeah, man. I love that idea. And I think if Nintendo Capcom's a great shout because they have so many games that they could pull from their back catalog.
Yeah. Even if they did Street Fighter, that would be cool.
That'd be so
I'm not even like a big Street Fighter fan, but
they could pull from like all of their different franchises and just kind of tuck them in there. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Truly.
But yeah, this month, came in a little bit softer than I think I was expecting. And really, December's looking quiet too.
Like November should be like, there should be some like holiday blockbusters. This has really been a slow year all around for just about every company. And I know that like I'm a
Call of Duty come out.
Okay, you're right. But I'm a predominantly Nintendo guy and a PS5 like in my back pocket, but I feel like there has not been much to get excited about this year.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, though, I think it's going to be a really fun year.
I think so too. There's a lot that's kind of building up. We have this like avalanche of games coming down.
Yes, Grand Theft Auto 6, Switch 2,
Black Ops 6 got a 83, so that came in okay. I don't even know if that was November. I think that was November.
I think that game looks great by all accounts. I'm just,
people like the campaign a lot. I said it's really cool, actually. And
I'll probably play it in 20 years. And that sounds like just a stupid thing to say, but that's what happened to me with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I played it like 2 years ago for the first time, and I enjoyed myself. It was great.
That's awesome. So yeah, overall, I still want to get Mario and Luigi, but because it came in so low, and I actually ended up picking up, Metaphor ReFantasio. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
A little high fantasy action,
beefy RPG.
That game is much more appealing to me than Persona 5. Like sub out high school drama for high fantasy action, and I'm there.
Yeah, you would like this a lot more for sure.
Yes. Well, next month, we've got Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete coming out. Well, that came out a couple days ago, December 2nd.
It's already out.
Marvel Rivals comes out in about
tomorrow.
2 hours on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is the one I think that
the review embargo just dropped.
Yeah, most people's attention. It comes out December 9th. And reviews are looking pretty good from what I've seen. 9 on IGN. And then one that I am pretty interested in, and probably the one I will most likely pick up of all of these at some point in my life, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered.
Oh, yeah.
Those games always intrigued me. I've never played them, but I think it'll be cool to pick those up and give them a spin.
When I saw that on the PS5 store, I was like, oh, sweet. That's cool. I think that'll be fun.
There's something like PS1 graphics look like trash to me for like 30 years. And for some reason, the past 2 or 3 years, I've really kind of come around to them again. Like there's just they've got a certain charm to them. I've always liked Nintendo 64 graphics. I think they're completely different. They look different to me for some reason.
Yeah.
PlayStation's more jittery and more blocky, but
it is jittery for sure. That's the way to describe that, I think. One thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to put these on here, or I just skipped them over. I skipped them. Anton Blast, that looks kind of like a Wario-ish game coming to PC and Switch on the 3rd. So this is already out as well.
That's already out on Switch. It's been out since this summer, I think.
Well, this says PC and Switch December 3rd, Anton Blast.
Weird. Maybe I just played a demo of that.
Infinity Nikki. This game is supposed to be pretty big. It looks kind of like Genshin Impact, but a bit more developed, a lot more soft 3D graphics as opposed to that manga style that Genshin is. And then Marvel Rivals is another one that comes out tomorrow as well. And this is straight up an Overwatch clone, just with Marvel superheroes.
Interesting.
And it looks like it's being reviewed pretty well. People like it. They're into it. So I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, overall, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to be kind of a downer on Marvel. I just think that Marvel does not hold any sway anymore. No one gets excited for it. It's kind of like Star Wars. We had a Star Wars GTA clone come out this year that was reviewed pretty well, and it flopped because people just don't care anymore. The market is so oversaturated.
People are done with Star Wars. Yeah.
But I mean, even 10 years ago, height of the Marvel movie madness, I just feel like there was still, something to get excited about. Oh, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out. That's pretty cool. Or, the first Spider-Man game. Holy crap, that's amazing. Now, Wolverine, even though it's an Insomniac game, they're just dude, do something else. I don't want to play that.
I mean, I still want to see what that's all about. But yeah, you're right. The superhero genre, I think, needs a little bit of a break, or they need to figure out a better way to package it and make it interesting again. Because it's kind of run its course. We've had too many iterations, too many TV shows that have kind of fallen flat, and it's just I don't think this is working for y'all.
We need to spam westerns in Hollywood again. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, westerns. All right, well. Yeah, pretty quiet months overall. Anything in December? I think my most anticipated one would be probably Indiana Jones or Legacy of Kain. Those are the two I'm looking at the most.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana Jones, I guess. I might play it when it comes to PS5. And then, I'll have to wait till it goes down to $20 in a couple years. But
I just realized Marvel Rivals was on there, and I totally just forgot that you had read it off. So forgive me.
It's okay.
But yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. It's late. It's 10 o'clock here.
Yes.
All right, let's jump over to Game of the Month. So Landry and I choose a game every month that we will play, hopefully something widely available, and then the next month's co-host will also play that said game. So we'll talk about it briefly on the show, and we're not required to beat the game because we have a lot of responsibilities. It's hard to make it all happen. We're just giving it a play, see what we think, and a little taste test, if you will. So November's Game of the Month was Kena, Bridge of Spirits. And Landry, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your thoughts?
Dude, my thoughts were just from the jump initially very positive. It's hard not to be kind of blown away by the way this game looks.
Yeah.
It's just a great art style. Like technically it's probably not the most impressive graphic game, but the art style is beautiful. The characters are just expressive enough. The little tiny little rot guys that follow you around are super cute. Yeah. And I'm just a sucker for the environments that they've created here, like just like the kind of like deep, lush forests.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the level design. It feels of a different generation. It's not it is open world to an extent, but like each part's closed off. So while you're in a specific section of the world, it kind of feels like you're going through a giant like dungeon in Zelda almost. You don't have an item per se to like navigate different obstacles, but I thought the level design was quite clever in certain areas. I did think that there were some like, oh, this is the first game, signs with the level design as well. It was a little uneven. There are definitely some parts where there's just not enough, in my opinion, visual cues to let the player know where to go.
Yeah.
And they made a distinct choice. I think it's a brave choice to not give you a mini map, which makes you kind of use the environment and get used to the world. But I found myself really struggling to understand the world. And I still, after playing quite a long time, still don't know that I quite do. There's not necessarily like memorable spaces in the game except for that one hub village in the very beginning. There are tons of like beautiful moments, but they don't ever amount to like these like extremely poignant moments that like are necessarily memorable. I think overall the game is quite memorable, and I love some of the themes they're trying to tackle. I just don't think it ever quite reaches a high that is, launches it into that sphere. It toys with being an amazing game, I think, the whole time. It just never quite clears the hurdle. And I still am really fond of this game. I think I'm going to remember it quite fondly. It also has the benefit of being a Landry game, like to the T. Like it's just like such a cool idea. It's kind of a little like dark and ominous, but it's not in any way like scary. It's kind of got like a fairy tale vibe as well. I really enjoy it. Yeah, you can talk about the combat, or I feel like I'm talking too much about a lot of different mechanics.
I feel like you kind of hit all the major points. I followed you on almost everything. I came into this a little bit fatigued on like large games, but like the simplicity and focus of Kena was like really refreshing. And I love that like you're just capped to 4 abilities, and it's like, hey, you can unlock these, now go and figure out how to use them in fights and in these puzzles, and that's it. Like it was like really straightforward. You have a bow, you have just your staff attacks, you have bombs, and then you have like this shield. And that's it.
Yep.
But the one thing I did notice is like, combat's tough.
Dude, it's so hard. I was really taken aback by the combat.
Weirdly
being
tough.
So difficult.
And it doesn't really get easier until you unlock bombs or the more powerful rot abilities that you can't really get until you've put in a few more hours. So like, I think that's intentional, but it does make a few of those early fights a little more frustrating because you can get like 1 shot or 2 shot by a lot of enemies, or there's like, you can get overwhelmed really easily and just get destroyed. And you're like, okay.
And the enemies, they're not like easy to take down. Like they take quite a few hits.
There's a lot of hits, and usually you have to kind of follow a sequence with each enemy type. So it's like, oh, these ones you need to use like this ability to open them up and then throw a bomb on the inside. These guys, you have to shoot these crystals off their arms. Like there's just like
there's
a lot
always
of
like 4 to 6 enemies as well. So I don't know. I thought sort of like the combat to me was not necessarily simplistic, but it was like really, really tough. I think simplistic is a little derivative. There's definitely, some complexity to it. It's just, and I think it was well designed. I would say that I think it would have been a lot more fun if the enemies just had a little less health. Like I'm fine with them hitting as hard as they did. I just don't want to have to hit somebody 8 times for them to die,
Yeah, you had to spend a lot of time running away, dodging, and sort of like spacing yourself more than actually just fighting them.
And that's not fun, in my opinion. Personally, like I just don't want to be I don't want to be in a game where I'm like dodge rolling 15 times and then coming in and popping them once and then dodge rolling away.
That's what I found myself doing a lot.
I did a lot. Yeah, same.
Yeah. Same as you. I think world design's beautiful, but it wasn't super varied. You start in that main area, and then it's all really just interconnected, and it's still in this giant forest area. There's like a few different terrains. There's like some water over here. There's like a little bit of like dirt and sand and stuff on like one side, but it all looks kind of the same. And I think that didn't work in its favor because a lot of times I would go into those new areas and be like, okay, I can go all of these different directions. And by it not being kind of clear on like where my like what I should be doing, like I started like going down a path and realizing that like, oh, like I could go over here, but like it's not really worth it. Or like maybe I missed something back there and it's hard for me to even tell. And I was just like, like the power ups or the hidden items also like never felt super worth it for me to care. And I was just like, I just kind of want to finish the story.
Did you ever use any of the charms?
Yes, whatever ones I found. I only found like 4 or 5.
I've only found 3.
Yeah,
which I find kind of shocking. And I haven't used a single one, so I don't know. They kind of felt like an after thought, and then come to find out they were added in a free downloadable patch like a year after the game.
So to probably make it a little bit easier, or like
I think so, yeah. But I was like, well, this is so weird.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they just kind of seem like they're tacked on. But
I thought the music was great. I thought there was like some really good orchestral scores that thematically tied to the areas that we were in. And like some areas were like repetitive, or you might have heard the same song. Like you kind of come back in and it's like it just keeps playing on loop over and over and over again. You're like, okay, that's the song here. Not like in the worst way, but like, yeah, after a while I was like, this isn't like a Zelda where it kind of eases you in. It's like, this is it. This is what you're gonna listen to the whole time you're here.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like, I mean, it's kind of peaceful, but it is kind of like a haunting, kind of like ominous soundtrack as well. So there could have been some variety there. I agree. I didn't dislike it at all. I wouldn't consider it a strength of the game though.
Yeah. And I also, near the end, I don't know where you are, but I kind of just got like tired of like the story. I was like, it was all very like a little bit overdrawn, and like they were trying to make it too emotional. Trying to like tell these like deep, sad stories about like what's going on. And I'm just like, okay. I was like, all right, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it is. It's a little heavy. Yeah, I mean, I've been through 2 of the storylines so far, and I've started the 3rd one, so I'm not feeling that yet, but I could see the second one didn't do it for me. I thought the first storyline was really good.
Yeah, first one's great.
With the kids.
Yeah, that was sweet and sad.
Yes, it was. The second one didn't do anything for me almost at all.
Same.
And the third one, to be determined. But
yeah, TBD. That's kind of where I the second one lost me, and then the third one was just like, all right, we're doing it again. Okay.
Yeah.
But
such is the life of a spirit
guide or whatever she is. Yeah. And random side note, I wish that this game let you turn off haptics. Normally you can turn that off in the game, but it doesn't let you in the game. So I had to go and turn it off at like the PS5 level to like play it. And
weird.
Like it doesn't always bother me, but sometimes like I just don't want the haptics. Like
Yeah.
I think initially and when I say haptics, I'm more talking about the triggers, the adaptive triggers,
Right.
being able to like feel the tension of the bow. Like that was cool. But then when you have to shoot the bow a bajillion times, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm good on the tension. Like I just want to shoot the bow.
Dude, that's the way I felt with Horizon, because you're doing that so much in Horizon. I was like, I think my finger's a little sore.
It sounds so wimpy, but it's so true, because like you're having to like flex harder against that trigger.
Yeah.
And like the PS5 controller is comfortable, but it's not the most ergonomic still.
Dude, I don't like it. I think it's not designed for normal people. Like whoever designed that must have had just mammoth hands. My hands are very average.
I have
big hands.
I have huge hands, and even I think it's uncomfortable because like my middle finger to pinky fingers are wrapped around so tight when I'm grabbing those haptic triggers that like this muscle in between, like on my ring finger, is like flexing so hard because I'm trying to like do this at an awkward angle. So I don't think it's good either way.
It needs a tighter butt. Maybe I don't know.
That's what they call it, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, like I still enjoyed my time with it. I think it is a good game that scratches that PS2 era adventure game itch, but it is a bit too unfocused to kind of make it stand out for me as like a man. You got to play this game.
Yes,
it's one that's like I enjoyed this, and I think the art style and all of that was great. And I couldn't help but compare it to the Beyond Good and Evil remaster that you and I played this year.
So true. It's a good comparison.
Like I really enjoyed going through that, and it's a similar, pretty bare bones adventure game. It didn't do too much that like made it stand out, but thematically it all tied together super well, and it felt like the systems in that game were designed in a way that benefited each other, whereas this one, it just kind of like some areas fell apart, and it just felt like you were kind of moving through in a weird pace.
Yeah, I think that Beyond Good and Evil, even in 2024, holds up a bit better already. It's just more cohesive, like you said. And I would give Kina a very strong 7 out of 10.
I'm in the same boat.
Or a very strong 3 out of 5.
I'm in the same boat. 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Good game. Good game.
Very good game. Well, no, good game. You're right.
Yeah. Good game. Not very good, but good.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. And so that brings us then to our last game of the year, Landry. We had some debate in our Game Boys chat, and we decided on Donkey Kong Country 2.
Dude, one of my favorite games ever made. I last played it in 2021. Got 101%, 102%.
Okay, so you know what you're doing.
So I'm going to go for another 100% run, I think. And
Jeez. It's going to be easy for you.
No, it is easy up until 100 and that very last level. I think it's called like Bramble Scramble or something. You have to use all the animal buddies. It is insanely hard. It's one of the hardest levels on the Super Nintendo, period. But it's still one of my favorite games. It's definitely worth 100%ing, especially with a Switch. You can do like the rewinds.
I've never played it.
Cool. You've never played it?
Never played it. So I'm looking forward to this. I've played Donkey Kong Country and Tropical Freeze and all the like returns, but I just totally missed anything after Country.
I think that it has some pretty historical significance for Nintendo, personally, that I've not heard a lot of people talk about, but I believe that it started the collect-a-thon era.
That can be good or bad. We'll see how that
It's very, very good in this case, because there's only really a couple things to collect.
Okay.
So in Donkey Kong 1, you have all the secret levels, right? Mm-hmm. And in this one, every secret level gives you a coin, and you can spend those to buy the secret world levels. And then every level has one DK coin hidden in it. And that's like the extent of the collectibles. So it's not too bad. Like the KONG level letters still do the same thing. They just give you an extra life. There's no counter for percentage for that.
Oh,
it's just the DK coins and the bonus barrel rooms are really what you're going after. And then you have one other currency. They're called banana coins, and they're really just to spend to get
On
like
lives.
extra lives and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that they're useless.
Perfect. That is good to know. But yes, I'll be heavily relying on the NSO like save state and rewind function if that exists.
Yes, it does. And I will just say this, like, I cannot wait to hear your experience. Everybody says these games are so tough. I'm not a good gamer. I do not find them hardly like they're hard in the way a Super Mario World is hard. Like to me, like they're not any harder than that. You just get to the end of the
Got to
goal,
figure it out.
jump over the
Make
guys,
some mistakes,
bop
die,
their heads,
try
it's
it again.
fine. It's not that hard. Yeah.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good game to close out on.
Play some music or listen to the music whenever you play. It's really good. And I've got a qualm with Mark. He said that the soundtrack does not fit the gameplay. I completely disagree. It fits perfectly.
I will listen to it, and I will have a review when we come back in December, or maybe even January of next year.
Cool.
Wow. But yeah, we do have
100% run took me 3 hours, so it's not a long game.
Oh, sweet. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'll sit down and play just a few minutes each night, get through a level or two. It sounds awesome. And then a little look ahead. Our last episode of the year will also be our Game of the Year podcast with a few other friends and a large version of Name That Game music that I'm looking forward to. So stay tuned for that.
Exciting.
Speaking of Name That Game music, let's go ahead and play it, shall we?
Let's do it, man. Sounds good.
It's time for our final segment, Name That Game Music, the hit game where I play music from a video game and contestants earn points by guessing the correct game and moment. And I said I meant to say we play game music. So Landry, the hints are genre, console, first initial. You can use those in any order you want to, depending on how you have moved through those. So do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first this time because I did last time.
All right, so I'm playing your first one here called Fade Out. In 3, 2, 1. All right, this is definitely Super Mario World.
Ding.
And
correct.
I'm assuming this is like... Is this the end, like credits music?
No.
Oh! All right, half points for that. So what? When does that appear?
So I give you you're getting half points for this, basically.
Yeah, because I got the game, but I didn't get the.
It's the Forest of Illusion. So, are you familiar with that world?
I mean, yes, but it's been a minute since I've played through Mario World. So good. That music's so like identifiable.
Yes, it is. It really is.
All right. Well, you might want your headphones on for this next one. You let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready. Sorry, I look like a goof.
Oh, you look great.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Okay. Smash Brothers.
Yes, that is correct.
But which version? Dude, I hate that you give me so much Smash Brothers and Mario Kart music, and they're literally all the same.
No, they're together. Not. This one is specific to a game. They're all specific. They each have their own. I'm not gonna give you any more hints.
Okay. So what are my hints that I can ask for?
Genre, console, and first initial. That genre hint's going to get you that, or sorry, console hint's going to get you that one easy.
Yeah, I know. So if I do console, is that going to give you 10 points or 15?
You'll get 15 points.
But then I still have to tell you like where this happens.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to guess. I think it's Super Smash Brothers Brawl, and it's the title select screen.
You would be incorrect, brother. See, this is hard, Landry, because it's not fair to you because these songs can appear in the later titles.
I know that. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So it's Melee?
It's Melee.
Okay. You dog. Is it? And it's the title select screen.
Yeah, it's the select screen.
Okay, so give me 10 points. You sneaky snake.
You sneaky snake. Very sorry. Very sorry. But you got it. That's great.
Yep,
you got it.
that's fine. Yeah.
All right. Next one. I mean, that music's just like cemented in my brain. I played so much Melee that like I can't not think of it.
I didn't play much Melee, but I know that song immediately.
Yeah.
But I played Brawl 4, Ultimate, and 64 one ad nauseum. So.
But what's interesting is I think in Brawl and Ultimate, you could unlock the songs, and I know Ultimate that's the way you can. If you do the whole campaign, you can unlock the songs and then use them like as your main like title screen music. I know Matt Intiman has done that, and I think he has the Melee or Brawl theme playing.
I've done all the single player content for Ultimate, so I need to do that as well.
It's time for Hot Tunes. This is what you labeled the second one. Here we go. Got some burbling effects there. Oof. This rules.
This is so good.
This is so awesome. Ooh. Bro. Okay. I think you're being a little cheeky, Landry. I think you're being a little cheeky right now. I'm thinking that is this Donkey Kong Country 2?
It is.
Yes. Got the game. So
well done.
But I'm going to be honest, I do not know.
Yeah, I didn't know you hadn't played the game, so that's a bummer.
I do not know at all where this could be. I mean, it sounds like it's like a lava level or some kind of like...
Well, that's correct. That is correct. It's called Hothead Bop.
Okay.
I believe is the name of the level and the song, I think, too. But yeah.
All right. So I'll give myself 10 on that one.
I think you gave yourself 15 for that one. You knew it was a lava level.
I mean, the burbles definitely gave it away.
It could have been a bubbling cauldron. You never know.
It sounded hot. Like it sounded like a hot level. You know,
it sounded hot.
It did. That's a hot tune.
So there's my first. There's your first. Like it sounds like a hot level. That's atmospheric. Take that, Mark.
It sounds hot. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. What is he saying? It doesn't fit. Oh, that's perfect. All right, Landry. Last one. You should get this one.
Super Mario Sunshine secret levels.
You freaking nailed it.
Yeah, I love that.
That was like such a fun surprise when you found one of those for the first time, and you're like, "Oh, this is get a little acapella Mario jazz."
And it was
situation.
also like. Those were like the sequel levels to 64. It was like, oh, dude, take Flood off, man. It's time for the big boys to step up to the plate.
Yeah, let's see if you still got it without Flood.
I love those levels, man. I love that game. It's so underrated. I shouldn't say it's underrated. I understand the hate. However, when you go back and play Galaxy 1 and 2, which I love those games, they're just so much slower.
They're slow. The gravity effects really make that less of a...
And they're very fun
game and more of like a physics game almost.
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's not the athletic Mario we grew up loving. And then you put him in Sunshine. And
the athletic
dude's
Mario.
Like LeBron in there. He's incredible.
He's incredible. He's amazing. Oh man. Well, yeah. I remember. I think there's a few of those levels are super hard. A few of those like courses are like the without Flood. I remember being like super hard, and like my older brother and his friends, like we would just sit on the floor trying to like just passing the controller back and forth, trying to see if we can beat these levels. And when you finally get to the end, like my hands are sweating, like I'm like squeezing the controller so hard, like I'm like, oh, don't fall off the edge. Like, so good. Love that game. I want to go back to it. I beat it when it came out in the 3D All Stars collection, but I didn't like 100% it.
I did.
And I will say that game, all Nintendo games are this way, but if you don't have the original controller to play it with, like it feels just a little off.
True.
Like,
and they came out with like the GameCube, a bunch of GameCube controllers came out like 4 months after that game came out. So they probably like went into production because remember that game was announced like 3 weeks before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So you could tell like a bunch of people were like, "Oh, dude, we got to get a GameCube controller up for the Switch.
We got to get one out."
Like I had already finished it. If you ever tried 100% Mario Sunshine, you'll have to Google it. But there is an app that will let you check off all the blue coins as you get them for each level, and it's brilliant because it's like Nintendo's not going to put that on their game, even though it would take probably like one day of some programmer to figure it out. But
it would just take one day. It would just take Miyamoto just pulling some weird file out of his back catalog. He's like, "Oh yeah, we have that over here somewhere. Let me just drop that in for you guys." Oh, Miyamoto,
the old drag and drop.
Okay, Landry, you got away with 30 points. I got away with 25. So that was one of our better rounds for sure. We picked some easier ones, maybe, or just some better ones. Who even knows?
Yeah,
but that was fun. I love this game so much.
It is so much fun.
Now, that song's gonna be stuck in my head. But unfortunately, all that is the end of our podcast. Listeners, what do you think of game replayability and just how long something should entertain? Do you think there is a cap? Let us know by writing into BitCast@bitblogist.com. Landry, as always, thank you for your time. Is there anything else that you want to shout out before we have our last Game of the Year podcast?
No, man, I'm excited to meet you back here in a week or so and talk about our favorite games of the year.
Me too. I'm not sure how I'm going to format that yet because I think there's going to be like 5 of us, maybe 4 of us, and I want to make sure we stay under a certain.
Are you bringing Matt Intiman on?
I hope so. I hope to pull him in.
Me too.
So we'll see how that all works out. But until next time, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in to talk about some stuff.